Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Let's ask this question. What is the appropriate thing to use in Dawah? What should you use to do Dawah? Qur'an, Bible, or philosophy? Okay, so I've seen people take different stance on this issue, surprisingly. So some people, they just don't like philosophy, for example, or they are not good at it. So they'll say, you know what, don't use philosophy. Nobody has ever used philosophy in Islam and stuff like that. Don't use philosophy to talk about, to do dawah. Just use the Quran. And when you say use the Quran, now I've seen someone made a video, I think Muhammad Hijab or something. He was saying you cannot use the Quran. But what he meant is this. Let me explain it to you. When he said you cannot use the Quran, it doesn't mean you cannot just read the Quran to people. You know, I can just say, yeah, you're ladina amanu, something like this. I can say it, yeah? But it's using the Quran, not using your reason to, you know, that's where two interpretations can come in. When you say use the Quran, do you mean I just go to people and say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this, ABC, that's all? Is that what it means? Or I need to internalize the meaning of the Quran and then go to people and explain it to them? You see, that's the second view. Like, I internalize it, I understand it, and then I go to people and discuss with them in a way that we are on common ground. I take the knowledge from the Quran, which is my guidance, it's my lens, but the arguments I present, you might not even recognize it, in the sense that I'm not reading the Quran verbatim, right? So this is where the divide is. Now, I've seen people that want to take the moral high ground, as if philosophy is something evil, you know. It's getting really boring, and people will later find out anyway. The point is, most of them, they use the Bible. Who told you Bible should be used in Dawah? Who said this? Who told us to use Bible in Dawah? No one said this. We just, okay, we are using Bible in Dawah. Why? Which early scholar was using Bible? Which of the Sahabas was using Bible to do Dawah? Like, it's really inconsistent, man. You using a particular thing or scientific stuff. Who was using scientific method to prove Islam in the early Islam, right? So some of these things are not consistent. When things have changed and people are engaging with many different people from different perspectives, from different backgrounds, and you want the dawah to just be monolithic. And you know, the funny thing is, I don't think biblical arguments are actually strong. Why? Because at the end of the day, the guy gets to interpret whatever he wants. So let's say you say, oh, the Father and I are one, or something like this, and this guy has a different interpretation. You cannot force him to accept your interpretation, right? Just as he cannot tell you what the Quran verse means. So if I tell you this is what this verse says, I have to, at the end of the day, listen to what they have to say on that verse. What is your understanding of the verse? Just as me, I would expect them to actually give me that courtesy. Like, if they read the Quran to me and they tell me what it means, it doesn't make sense to me. You have to let me, as a Muslim, tell you the meaning or how I understand this verse. You cannot impose your own interpretation on me. So, and that's what the dawah using Bible is. It works. By the way, see, it works. But when you start talking to more intellectual people, or some of these arguments doesn't work for them, because they already know that there are different interpretations of these biblical verses that you are reading to them. They can find a way to explain it, okay? So if you see someone that is not as well educated, you can use those verses for them, and you guys can talk on that level, no problem. Or even you read the Quran to them, and maybe they'll change, Allah knows. But to now say, don't be intellectual, don't talk to, bro, come on. This is absurd, guys. To me, philosophy is actually the best, because philosophy is about reason, something that makes sense. Like, I don't even need to force you into any particular belief. I just need to ask you a few questions. Like, I take arguments from the Quran, for example, that you know, the contingency argument that people use, right? You can see some verses from the Quran that supports that, and you use it to prove to somebody that this ABC, you know, and reason outweighs all this stuff. Like, if you present an argument that is not reasonable, you are not going to even connect to the person you are talking to. So I just wanted to tell you guys, we need to stop this kind of because you see some particular sheikh, they use the Bible. Okay, by the way, let me make mention. What's it called? I remember when I started this stuff, I wanted to look like, what should I do? I started from Sheikh Ahmed did that, okay? You cannot push away these people's works. They are the people that actually motivated us. If you watch my first video on this channel, you actually see me. I was talking about Sheikh Ahmed Didat. At that time, I believe I needed to use Bible. I can show you my notes. I was literally copying biblical verses and saying this is a contradiction. I had I had some of Sheikh Ahmadida's books about how to show the Christian the contradictions in the Bible. I had many of this, but after some time I grew past that. See, you might think like the philosophical or this kind of dawah might not be actually as effective. Let me tell you the fact here. It might not be as effective as using Bible or as using rhetoric. It might not be as effective, but it's honest and what's it called? It's intellectually honest, meaning I'm not just forcing the guy to believe or winning him in an argument. It's more of, bro, let's reason. Does it make sense? Something like that, you know? It's because I realized something. Reason why I don't favor this too much. I don't favor this too much because if you use Bible verses and you say this is what it means, I have seen Christians know how to, bro, you have no idea their hermeneutics, the way they can explain complicated issues. They will explain it. I'm telling you, they will. So, what do you do then? Are you going to say, no, that's not what it means? Now, if they come to the Qur'an and they tell you this is the meaning of this verse, are you going to say, no, this is not the meaning of this verse? Let me explain it to you. That's what you say, right? Exactly what they will tell you. So, that's why I don't favor talking about the Bible too much. I don't see it as actually, it might be effective, but intellectually, to me, it's not consistent with what I do, because if they turn it around and ask me, I will then contradict what I was, you know. Anyway, use any method you're comfortable with. If you are not good at something, I'm not saying I'm good at philosophy or something like this, but I can see when someone is making argument that is not sentimental. I can see when someone makes an argument that is not only based on Islam. I can see argument that is not based on rhetoric, that is not emotionally loaded. It's just plain argument that everyone can see, that even people that are not Muslim, they can make these arguments. So stop victimizing philosophy. If you don't see, maybe we should stop calling it philosophy, so that people will not. Maybe we should just call it reasoning, or unbiased, unsentimental, logical reasoning. That anyone that has the capacity to reason can just think about them, and then you see where you disagree or you agree. So I've been wanting to make this video since. So you guys, tell me what you think. Which one do you think is the most effective? And by the way, to complete that story, to me the most effective one is using Bible. For Christians, that's the most effective one. But what do you do when you talk to atheists? Okay, what do you do when you talk to atheists? And also, for Christians, because most Christians too, they don't know what they are doing, man. Like all they do is just read the Bible, think the Bible is literal. And if you find sophisticated, intelligent Christians, they will explain some of these things to you, really. So anyway, the most effective one so far that we know is using the Bible and showing contradictions. Many people are always moved by that. And philosophy and reasoning and all these things is not as successful as the other ones. I will tell you, it's a fact. But why? Why is it not? Why do you think it's not like that? It's because most people, no matter which religion, they don't think like that. They don't think about all this, does it make sense or not. They just believe something emotionally, or they just grew up there. It's not like they rationally chose that position. So when you press them rationally, they have nothing to say. They'll just emotionally get angry and just leave. Anyway, guys, may Allah help us and guide people towards Islam. But we should stop attacking each other or our own each other's methodology based on some things that is not grounded. So scientific method, there's nowhere where the early companions were using scientific method. There's nowhere where the early companions were using Bible. If you have this was their methodology. No. But now any dawah, is it not Bible you quote, right? So let's be consistent when we make some of these allegations. If you are using it, don't make argument against it, right? So see you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.